Hey folks, welcome to Affiliate Nerd Out. I am your nerderator, Dustin House, spreading that good word about affiliate marketing. You're going to find me here every Thursday at noon on LinkedIn Live. So put it on the calendar and come join me and my guest. And my guest today, Matt McWilliams, an absolute legend in this industry. He has forgotten more about affiliate marketing than I even know. Matt, thank you for joining me today.
That was an awesome intro.
Oh, appreciate it.
Because that's literally what one of our team members used to say when he would pitch. We'd be at conferences and non-affiliate conferences, and they're like, "Oh, Matt, they've heard of Matt," and Mark was like my psyche. He'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's forgotten more about affiliate marketing than I've ever learned." I'm like, "Oh, you two must have talked."
Now, it's like my ultimate praise for industry legends that have been out there so long and doing this. And I have no idea how many years you've been in, but like,
Here's words like that, and I'm like, I'm getting older by the second, dude.
that's not what I'm going for.
Yeah.
This isn't a backhanded compliment. This is a testimony of good, your name being so
Appreciate that.
synonymous in this industry and famous. You've been an inspiration to me for years and years as I build out content. I've been trying to be like Matt. Thanks for joining me. It's an honor to have you.
Turn that into a Nike commercial later. But like people from my age,
Compliments, Matt.
Said "Be Like Matt." They heard
Yeah.
the "Be Like Mike" song from about 20 years ago, and they're like, they got it in their head now. And you're welcome.
Matt,
You're young, you don't get that reference.
no, it's it's Mike flying through the air. I want to be like Mike. Kids dancing around.
Are you singing it in your head right now?
Absolutely, I am.
I
for
am
sure.
really distracting.
All right. If you'd like to be in Matt's seat, come and be in a guest, go to dustinhouse.com/nerd and drop in a topic that you'd like to nerd out about. And without further ado here, Matt, who are you?
Think about that one for a second. Like really existential, or did I show up on the wrong podcast?
Essential comes up a lot when I ask my question.
Oh my gosh. The context of what we're talking about today. I'm a guy who 20 years ago ran a business with two business partners, and we were in a bit of a desperate situation. We basically couldn't make payroll in 2 weeks, and we had one of those come to Jesus meetings. It was Memorial Day weekend 2005, and we, instead of barbecuing and eating hot dogs, drinking beer, we were sitting in an office all Saturday trying to figure out, like, what do we do? And it was like the equivalent of trying to pay your bills with money from the couch cushions. We were like, if we do this, that'll generate $200 a week. Like, we need 15 grand a week. All right. So now we're 1% of the way there. Thanks, Bob. We're trying to figure this stuff out. And to look back, like I was chatting with a friend of mine recently. He was the CEO of the company. I was the CEO, and it was the three of us and the CFO. Talking about how stupid we were. Like that meeting, just how idiotic the stuff we were putting on the whiteboard was. And then finally I was like, what if we started an affiliate program? What does that even mean? Like, there was no affiliate guy. There was no Dustin Howells back then. There was nothing about affiliate marketing based. There was like one forum and like a blog post that taught you anything about how to start an affiliate program. I was like, an affiliate program, it's like, as best as I understand it, guys, it's like people who market your stuff, but you don't pay them until a month later. Which, okay, it's still pretty much true today, though the month could be a week, could be days, but you pay after the transaction. That's a great thing for a company. Like, we start talking about it and we get fired up. Okay, how do we develop the software? There was no out-of-the-box software back then. There were a couple of networks, but I didn't know that. So I messaged our developer. It's 4:00 in the morning, and I had a way of messaging him that would literally actually ping him through his phone. And I woke him up at 4 in the morning. Great way to start a conversation, by the way. I'm like, can you build this software? He's, yeah, it'll be like $1,000. Ed, here's the thing. I don't have $1,000, but I'll tell you what, if this thing is a success, I'm going to give you a percentage of every transaction from this point forward. Best decision you ever made. We need to pay him over $250,000 over the next, you hope, like 8 to 10 years. And so anyway, so okay, this is awesome. We can build the software. He's like, yeah, I can code that over the weekend. I'll have it done by Monday morning. Again, simple version. It's pretty basic. All right, this will be great. And then we need this and we need this and we got this. And then hunters, how do we find affiliates? I'm like, I don't know. So I made it up. I couldn't find anything that taught me how to do it. So I was like, some of our competitors have affiliates. I bet I could steal a few of them. And I did. And so, as they say, the rest is history. I mean, over the last 20 years, this is what I've been doing. I fell in love with it within a few months. Just absolutely. I was just one of those things. It was like the reason I became the affiliate manager and not Hunter, not Bob, he wasn't good with people. He's great with numbers. So we called him Bob the Biller, right? That was their CFO. Bob the Biller. Anyway, we're just going to sing songs today. Later, we'll sing the Gatorade song like Mike. And for those who don't know it, we'll actually just sing it, or you could Google it. And so we had Bob the Biller where he can't talk to people and he didn't know marketing. He just was really good at numbers. So we needed him because we had to pay the affiliates. And then Hunter was like, he didn't understand the tech side. He was technologically illiterate. Well, I was really good at sales. I was really good at customer relations, but I also understood marketing and the tech side. So I could actually talk to these people. So that's how I became the affiliate manager. And if you think about it, those are pretty much the skill sets, right?
Yeah.
So I became the default affiliate manager. And then, I did it. And about 18 months later, we're doing over $1 million a month after being nothing. And then fast forward a couple of years later, I left there and went to another company. And I was like, they thought I was pretty good at it. And so I was affiliate manager of the year, which was really cool. And then one day I got fired from a place. Long story, honestly, completely not anything that I did other than massively grow their affiliate program, which was a threat to one of the investors. Very long story, not really allowed to talk about too much there. And so I leave there and I'm like, I got to go find another job as an affiliate manager. Because when you lose a job, what do? Is you go find another job. And this was in the spring of 2012. I had a newborn, basically she's about a year old at that point. I got fired from the one job and I thought I need to go find another job. And over the next 2 weeks, I literally had so many offers that I decided I'm not going to say no to any of them. I'm going to say yes to every single one of them. That's how I started an agency.
Okay.
So totally by accident, never thought I'd do it like an agency or anything like that. I didn't want to say no to any of them.
Amazing story. It's what I hear from that digital marketing world is everything erupted from necessity and trying to pay the bills and like
Mother of invention, right?
absolutely. I love
I
it.
think that's the saying.
It's
Mother,
something like
brother, it
that.
might be the father. I don't know. It's a relative, right? Necessity is a relative of us all.
Great point. And
I don't know. Tweet that later.
tell me about what you do and who you serve out there today.
Yeah. So today, a couple of things. Number one, I love talking about affiliate management, affiliate marketing. I love helping people. I love training people. So training is a large part of what I do through the podcast, through just, I will talk about it anywhere and everywhere. I very rarely, if I'm able, and it's a crowd of more than a couple hundred people, will turn down a speaking invite, like to be able to convince people like, hey, here's a great way to monetize your platform with affiliate marketing, or here's a great way to triple your revenue or 10x your revenue with an affiliate program. So a lot of training, but we also have an agency. We run quite a few affiliate programs in all kinds of niches or niches, depending upon whether you're French or not. We do that and we help literally all kinds of business owners, small, large, a lot of people who are in that same boat that I was, or they've got an affiliate program, especially a stagnant affiliate program. We have a lot of people who they've had an affiliate program for a year to 3. And they got it to that point where it was doing 40 grand a month. And that was a year and a half ago. And it is still doing 40 grand a month, or it could be 70, could be 120. The number doesn't matter, but it's just flatline. And they need somebody to come in and put it on steroids. And so we do that. And then the second part, second business that I own is actually an affiliate network. And right now we're primarily serving the health and wellness market. We have some non-health and wellness people that we're working with, but most of our people, we're really targeting the health and wellness market. We'll expand from there. That's the intention. Health and wellness is like our books were to Amazon. It is the easiest way for us to break into the market. We already had half a dozen or so that were built in that we knew. And so it just made sense to expand around that initially. But yeah, any type of merchant, any type of business owner that's looking to grow, being on a network is one of the ways to grow. It's not the only way. I would never say that, but it is a way to grow your business and not have to deal with, especially if you're a small operation, like the nightmare of paying affiliates and all the tax forms, and you got W-9s and 1099s and all this stuff. And it's nope, we take care of all that for you.
Awesome. And from our world in affiliate marketing, it sounds like you're a doer. Like you get on clients and you take them out of that abyss of that flat growth and start launching programs or make them better. And today's topic of the day is all about affiliate launches. It's something we've never talked about on this podcast. It's not a part of my world. It's not something I'm familiar enough about. Everybody in this industry that I work with usually says, It takes 6 months to grow a program from start, and trying to build content sites and a lot of outreach, and it's slow and steady growth. But in the affiliate launch world that you're in, you can get things done a lot quicker. And let's start small and tell me about affiliate launches and what they are to
Sure.
you.
To me, a launch is anything that's time bound.
Okay.
It's treating the launch of a product, a service, anything really, like an event. It's treating it like a movie. And it doesn't have to be the first time it's ever launched. Like, you can launch every year, you can launch every 6 months, but there's a time bound period when the product or service or offering is available, and then it is not. That's all a launch is. And so if you think about a movie, if you look at, we're in February as we're recording this, and they're already talking about the summer blockbusters, right? So we already know the dates. I saw one the other day. I think it was like June 25th, 2025. I can't do that. I got the flu recently. And
Okay.
anytime I try to do that voice, uh, I can't do the movie voice anymore, and it's awful. Also, can't do really high voices. I can basically just do my voice, right? Like, my throat just like starts breaking up. You got the like coming June 25. Last fall, it was like coming in 2025. And then when you hit like Christmas, it was like coming summer of 2025. And now we have the date. And they build it into this event. And then sure enough, in the weeks leading up to it, the stars are on the late night talk shows,
Mhm.
and they start doing radio interviews. And then you start seeing ads for them on YouTube. And what are they doing? They're literally building up to the day that it launches in that first weekend. Because what are the exceptions to the rule that I'm about to say? Yes. Princess Bride is one of them, where it was a flop at the box office, and it's been a cult hit for the last 3 decades.
All right.
But most movies, if you look at popularity a decade after it comes out and the first weekend sales, there is a direct correlation 90 to 98% of the time between first weekend and 10 years later sales. All right. That's because it was the launch and the buzz building up to that. So that's all a launch is. And again, that can be done with a product, it can be done with a service, it can be a one-time thing. It could be a long-term thing where you're launching, like I said, every year or every 6 months. And really the biggest benefit is just the same that you experience with that movie. It's if a movie is a number 1 hit that weekend, odds are you've heard of it 500 times in various places, and everybody's talking about it on social media. And so what you want to do in your niche is be that affiliate program that when somebody who's a potential customer for your product goes and checks their inbox, goes and checks their social feed, they can't scroll down more than once on the magic rectangle without seeing an email or a social media message about your product in that confined period of time. And part of that is just psychological. It's if I see your company once a week for 52 weeks, I probably won't remember your company in the 53rd week. If I see your company 52 times in the span of 6 hours, I will remember your company for the rest of my life.
Okay.
And so that's the whole spirit. It's getting a groundswell of literally hundreds or potentially thousands, as we've done with some, especially book launches and other types of products. Literally just hundreds and thousands of affiliates promoting the same thing at the exact same time.
Okay.
That's really what it's all about.
Beautiful. Beautiful picture that you painted there for the audience. Absolutely love it. Is this right for all types of brands? This is a fit for everyone.
No, it's very rare that I find somebody that's not, but it's not a fit for any type of brand where you legitimately need to sell 24/7, 365. Now,
Okay.
there's a caveat to that. You want to create some buzz around your product, do a short-term promo.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a discount. It could be bonuses. It could be add-ons. It could be, so again, here, I'm going to buy this. Look, one of our clients, it's a CBD oil company. We just ran a big campaign. It was buy 2 bottles, get the pain relief roll-on for free. It's essentially like a discount. And that did really well. We treated that like a big event. We got out there. We had hundreds of affiliates promoting all at the same time. One of the cool things about doing stuff like this, and we all know this, is that then when we have a lot of affiliates promoting at the same time, affiliates all follow each other. So there becomes that tipping point, right? All of a sudden we start getting affiliates for the next thing who want to come in.
Mhm.
So that's one of the benefits of doing this, again, as opposed to just having, if we had 10 of them promote every day for the next year, nobody would really noticed. But when 3, 400 promote on the same day or in the same 72 hours repeatedly, you almost want to get to that point where it's like, oh my gosh, will you stop talking about catabolics? I'm getting sick of hearing about this company. Right when you get to that point and then go one step further, that's when you actually finally got through even the slightest bit to their brains and you made any impact. We used to always talk. I used to work in politics like 20 before that company. So 20 some odd years ago. And we would talk the messaging that we wanted to get. We wanted to be on the radio. We wanted to be on billboards. We wanted to be in print. This was the early days of the internet, but we wanted to be on the internet. We wanted to be, there was no YouTube. I think it may have existed, but it wasn't big. But we wanted to be in banner ads. We wanted to be everywhere. And just when they were finally like, oh my gosh, will you stop talking about this guy? We want to knock on their door and be there, right? And that's what we want to do. It's the same thing it's the same kind of principle here.
Gotcha. All right. And from my understanding, you have 7 big secrets to 7-figure launches. You want to take us through that roller coaster?
Yeah. So this came from some research I did. So I did it back in 2000. I've redone it about every 3 years just to confirm, are we still there? When TikTok came out, did it change any of this stuff? Newsflash, it didn't. Like the 7 things have been the 7 things for, well, now 7 years. Actually, almost 8 years, because this was like summer of 2017. And so it's interesting because we thought it would be like primarily based on what would separate basically a $1 million launch from, say, a $500,000 launch, and what would separate like a $5 million launch from a $1 million launch. What were those things? Interesting, the thing, it really wasn't list size. It wasn't their sales strategies, which those do help. It wasn't the ads. It wasn't like how talented was the speaker, like the main talent who's doing the ads or whatever. Were they dynamic or were they boring? It wasn't social media following, like length of launch. I actually thought that would be one. I had a hypothesis back in 2017 based on the trends in launches as they were getting shorter and shorter. We've tracked that over the last, decade. We went from about 17 and a half days in 2013 on average down to the low 15s. I think we're going to probably hit 14.9 maybe this year or next year. So I was like, oh, it's shorter launches do better. Actually, they're trending shorter, but no, it made literally no difference whatsoever. And so the 7 things we found, the first one was that they plan at least 6 months in advance. Just, I said this earlier with the movies. You've got to be thinking ahead. If you want to launch big, you don't say, we're going to launch next week. There's just no way you can pull that off. Now, can you do a promo next week? Yeah, if it doesn't require a lot. But how much traction are you going to get? And part of the benefit, not only financially, but part of the benefit to doing this is, again, the buzz that you create in the industry. It's just like when a new MacBook comes out. Okay. It's everywhere. To us Mac nerds, it's all over everything for about 2 to 3 weeks. And then it fizzles off. And then we all forget like what even number we're on. Like I have no idea what the new number for the iPhone is. I have whatever the one is before this one. I don't know what it is. I would have to look at it. It's begins with a 1, I think. Why? Because when the next one comes out, I can promise you I will know that number for 2 to 3 weeks. Just
good point.
Planning as much as possible in advance, getting affiliates lined up, getting swipe copy ready, making sure that as a company, you're ready for things like customer support and live chat and what happens when there's a failed payment, going live with your affiliates. It's a big one we see in launches. It works really well. Every day you should be live with at least 4 affiliates for a week or 2. Maybe more sometimes. Like we'll do the tours, like usually like second or third to last day, we'll do a Facebook Live tour. It's every 15 minutes. We're on with a different affiliate for 12 hours. And it's exhausting, but it's huge because then like people are scrolling and they just keep seeing us. So know who's responsible for what and when, and have like timesheets and stuff like that. Make sure links are working, all those things as well in advance as possible. The second big thing that we saw that was actually the number 1 differentiator. So I'm doing these out of order because I'm remembering them. But the biggest differentiator was the number and variety of entry points. What I mean by that, ways that they could enter the sales sequence. I mentioned earlier, again, going back to the movies, you might see it on The Tonight Show, and then you see it on The Late Show, and then you see it on a YouTube video, then you see it at the theater, then you see an article about it. Boom, 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 right? There's different ways you can enter the ecosystem of understand or learning about that movie. The same is true with the launch. Having different types of video series, webinars, workshops, master classes, live streams, a different webinar, cheat sheets, guides that they can download, free reports, ebooks. I mean, just go on and on, right? Mini courses, quizzes, assessments, all those things. Then when you think about once the card opens, and the product's available, you got this initial sales page, but you got like a midweek bonus, something like that, a fast action bonus on the front end, a today only bonus. The biggest difference between 6 and 7 and 8 figure launches was the number of entry points in that variety.
Smart.
So it's huge. Thinking of like different modes of learning. I mentioned video series, webinars, ebooks. I am literate. I want to be clear. I do read books. I read a lot of books. I've read roughly 50 in the past year.
Well,
But I don't learn very well reading. I read for entertainment. I have a hard time learning the way my brain processes information. Audiobooks, I can literally spout back to you entire quotes from the book I'm listening to right now that I listened to earlier today. Okay. The way that my brain interprets audio, I'm an auditory learner. So if all you have is an ebook to download, I'm not going to download it. But if you have a webinar, I'm probably not going to go. But if you offer some sort of a download that involves audio, I'm all over it.
okay.
So addressing that.
Everybody learns different way, right?
Yeah. The third thing, and this goes back to the first one, but in a different way, is making sure that affiliates have what they need 2 months out. 60 days.
Okay.
It's not the norm, but when you're prepping for these big launches, making sure that they start seeing the marketing materials 2 months out. Are they going to be sitting down 58 days before the launch, writing their emails? No, but just getting it in their hands so it's there, getting it like where they can see it, doing strategy calls with them, getting on the phone with them, planning out their promo. This is one of the biggest things that that we do. We call them commitment plans. We used to call them promo plans. I called it a commitment plan one time and realized that affiliate did more. So I kept doing it and they did more. Principle there. It's right out of Robert Cialdini's book, Influence, the principle of commitment. So we just basically fill out this spreadsheet with them that has their plan. We do it on a Zoom call, screen share. It's in a Google Sheet. And then I send them the link to the Google Sheet and here's your plan. The cool thing about that is now, not only do I know when they're going to promote, and they say they're sending an email Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. and it's Tuesday at noon and I don't see maybe I see some ancillary traffic from their email 3 days ago, but I don't see any new traffic. I reach out to him. Hey, what's up? Oh my gosh, shoot. We scheduled it for the wrong day. We just sent it. Great. Now I see traffic. Yay. But secondly, it holds them accountable. And we have found that if we can get an affiliate to commit to something versus just hoping that they promote, whatever they commit to, they typically do 105 to 108% of that. They actually do more than what they committed to. So give those things at least 2 months out. The fourth thing is just the affiliates were hot. I always remember the quote from Stu McLaren, a former client, good friend of mine, says, the longer the runway, the bigger the result. So we're warming affiliates up. So in Stu's launches, when we ran those, the first year I ran them, it was April 21st was the day it started. We had shirts and hats that said April 21st. And then next year was April 22nd. Next year was April 23rd. I've still got them. In fact, I had friends who got married on April 22nd and I gave them one of the shirts and they loved me for it. They thought I made them special shirts. I never told them. And hopefully they don't watch this. I hope they do watch it because they get the new, but
everybody loves a shout out.
I may have to delete that part. We'll talk about that afterwards. So they're not going to. They're not in the affiliate world. Like we had these shirts like April 22nd. As soon as the calendar flipped to the new year, it was all about April 22nd. And so all of this, and so we keep them warm. We keep them excited. And we get them to get their audience excited. As I don't remember the exact quote, but Zig Ziglar said basically every sale has 5 obstacles. There's no need, there's no money, there's no hurry, there's no desire, and there's no trust.
Okay.
And so a lot of that comes from not being warmed up. So if we teach our affiliates like, okay, the launch is April 22nd. You want to start talking about this in March. So his launch was all about how to set up a membership site. Let's start talking about membership sites in March and recurring revenue. Start talking about how Netflix built their business and all these things and like how we can build recurring revenue in our businesses and why that's important and lifestyle and things like that. And then in April, we start talking about the actual workshop so that, it starts April 22nd, but on April 10th, you're already sending out an email to a warmed up audience who's thinking about recurring revenue, at least somewhere in the recesses of their mind. And you're sending out an email on April 10th saying, hey, go sign up for this workshop that's about recurring revenue. And then people wonder why we had 35,000 people signed up more than a week out from the workshop. That's why. So we get people warmed up. We warm them. We're emailing them. We start ramping up the frequency of emails. 6 months out, we're emailing them once a month. We're posting in the partner Facebook group once a month. And then we start ramping it up. 3 months out, we start talking about specific aspects of the promotion. We start training them. Here's how to promote the webinar. Here's how to promote the video series. Here's how to promote sales. Here's how to close sales. We do a kickoff party about a week before. We would have hundreds of affiliates on coming and celebrating like we're a week away from launch. Like it's just all about getting them excited. We would have really early, a lot of people, they'll have 2 affiliate contests. They'll have a total leads contest, most leads, most registrations, and they'll have total sales. The total leads contest, like that doesn't even, nobody gets excited about that unless you're in the top, like you're one of the big wigs. So we'd have these early ones, like 2 weeks before we do a 3-day contest, most leads in the next 3 days, $2,000. Then we do another one and we do another. So we did all these things so that people who started early had a bit of an advantage.
Okay.
The 5th thing we saw.
Well, Matt, before we move on to that, before we move on, I want to expand on something real quick and ask you about this. It's great to have your network to tap into when you've got a new launch coming in. Of course, you can go back to your old players and they trust you. They know that this traffic is going to be a good fit for this brand. They can say yes or no. What are you doing when to talk guys into cold? Like you haven't met them before, but they're a perfect partner persona for that brand and they're going to kill it with this. What is your strategy reaching out to them and gaining their trust to do this on a performance basis?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, we find something they promoted that's similar.
Okay.
And then it's one of the most powerful phrases in the English language. It's like blank,
Okay.
but blank.
Smart.
Okay. The movie Speed.
All right.
It's Die Hard, but on a bus.
Beautiful.
That's the movie Speed, right?
The
problem to that was then they decided to make a bunch of other movies that were Die Hard, but and they had Steven Seagal and they sucked. But this one had Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves and Dennis Hopper. And it was a phenomenal movie, phenomenally well written. You can make fun of it all you want, but it was Die Hard on a bus. Now, if you think about that, so if you're trying to tell somebody who likes Die Hard, you say it's like Die Hard, but on a bus, it's like, oh, I want to see that.
Okay.
Same kind of thing. I want to be like, hey, you promoted such and such. This is like that, but okay, what's the difference? So if I'm doing a launch, let's look at, I'm going to launch a new skincare product. I'm just making that one up. That's weird. All right. It's like, I can only name one other skincare line. So I'm going to say Proactive. It's like Proactive, but for eczema. Okay. There you go. It's like Proactive, but for eczema. Cause I believe Proactive is just for acne. It might not be true, but let's just say it is, right?
Okay.
It's like Proactive for eczema. Okay. If you promoted Proactive and you know what eczema is, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Do you have an audience for that? Yes or no? Yes. Great. Here's the details. So that's where I start.
Beautiful. All right. I'll let you keep on
never
going.
realized
You were like
Die Hard on a bus, did you?
I never put that together until you said it, but it's so perfect.
It's Die Hard on a bus, just for the record. Really. We were at number 5. So number 5 was they had, not surprisingly that I would say this, they had really good superior affiliate management. It is absolutely impossible. I shouldn't say absolutely impossible. I've seen it done, but it's very rare to run an 8-figure launch like when you're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
I ran my first big affiliate launch that I ran for my own products. I'd been in the affiliate game for 12, 13 years, and we released a course. And I remember we're going to launch my thing. And I had tons of awesome affiliates lined up. We did the first day the card opened, we did about, 325,000 in sales. And usually the first day accounts for like 20% of sales. So we're doing the math. Okay, we're going to be about 1.5 million. Our goal is 1. This is going to be amazing. And second day we did 160,000. Yeah, that's awesome. And then the third day and the fourth day, I was on live streams just all day long. And I'm getting bombarded with questions. Like affiliates are texting me and they need stuff. And I'm like going like this, like try to check my phone and text them. At one point, one of the guys asked me a question and I don't know what he said. I was like, can you repeat that question? I don't remember. And it got so messy. And the thing was like, I could not be the talent and the strategist and the affiliate manager. All gotta have that team. And so you've got, again, like that's an area where you just can't skimp. And they hired someone, whether it was like internally or externally, they got coaching, they hired an agency like ours, yours or mine. The most important thing is they prioritize. And that's something that most people fail to do. They just don't prioritize a specialized affiliate manager. Like they'll have a full-time customer service person, and they'll have a full-time tech person, and they'll have a full-time graphic designer, and then have the affiliate manager also does social media, washes the dishes, and 14 other things in the company. It's no, I have a team. That's one of the most important things on the affiliate side. The 6th big difference was that they solved a very specific problem for a very specific person. And that seems counterintuitive because we think if we're going to go from 6 figures to 7 figures, we have to add more people. And that's true to some extent, but like you don't really have to expand the audience. You just have to get more of the people who are already in the audience. And so these, like the difference we saw between the $1 million plus launches and the smaller launches was they solved a very specific problem for a very narrow market segment. Marketing 101, buyers need to know exactly what they're signing up for. They need to know that this workshop, this product, this supplement, this course, or whatever it is, this is for me. This, I am the avatar. This is for me. And if you're not clear on that, you're going to do exactly what I did with my very first launch was like, oh, or my second launch. This course really could help all business owners. It's true, but I wasn't solving a specific problem for a specific type of business owner. And when we realized, no, what I like, the people that I helped with this particular were businesses that have been around for 1 to 5 years who were doing this amount of revenue, but had this specific problem. Our sales tripled literally overnight just from getting more specific about who we were, who we were serving and how we were helping them.
Excellent.
And last thing was just, clarity on messaging. They were 100% crystal clear on messaging. Again, what you see a lot in like this is what we saw in the first launch that I ever ran, wasn't for my product that I ever saw, was like, we knew what we were doing. I had some stories, but I was still crafting the stories and things like that. When I ran my first big launch, my stories were nailed down. My themes were perfect. I knew the exact phrases that I was going to use over and over again. And so I thought about, okay, what are the stories that I'm going to tell? And what situation, we plan this. So I have a philosophy. It's just called the 10 core stories. Like I haven't branded that. I'm not writing a book about it that I know of, but it's like, what are the 10 stories I can tell over and over again that apply to just about any situation? If you want to talk about how to find, competitors, affiliates, I have a story for that. Okay. It's 2006. Now I can tell you that story right now, 2 to 3 minutes, and it would sound exactly like the other 500 times I've told that story, roughly. Now, here's the good news. 99.9% of the people have never heard me tell that story. So it's not like I'm there. And even if they have, who cares if you hear a story for the second time?
Sure.
And so what are the stories I can tell and what questions can those answer? So then when somebody asks a question, that reminds me back in 2007, blah, 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 blah. So practice telling those stories. If you're going to quote stats, memorize the stats. Don't be like going on. I think it was like, I don't know. Oh yeah, it was 37.2. No, 37.2% of people with eczema, blah, 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 blah. You should know that if there's quotes, I have a handful of quotes that I have memorized because I use them all the time. Now, the one that I said earlier about Zig Ziglar, I'm going to let you in on a little, I should not tell how the sausage is made. I shouldn't. I know that quote by heart.
Okay.
Now, I even said I might butcher it. Why did I say this is, again, we're letting people know how the sausage is made. Why did I say I might butcher it? Because it feels weird if I just come out and say, and I name like an entire 3-sentence quote, like word for word.
Yeah.
It humanizes me to say I might butcher it. The reality is I know that quote. I've said it roughly 500 times in my life, probably.
Okay.
So you should be practice the pitch. Practice. I always talk about transition areas. So if you're doing a webinar where you're going from teaching for 40 minutes to selling for 10, the most important part of that webinar is minutes 39 to 41. How you transition from free content to selling is the single most important thing you'll ever do in that webinar. How you do the last 10 minutes of the pitch are not nearly as important as the first 30 seconds. And those aren't nearly as important as the 30 seconds right before that where you're transitioning. So you practice it. There's a story I tell, and it's in my book now, actually. That's how often I've told the story. And it happened out of left field. This is what happens when you've only done something 5 times. I remember I was talking about creating a lead magnet, right? And how when you create a lead magnet, it's a solution to pain. And all of a sudden I just said, my dad had the perfect lead magnet. Now, from this point forward, I've told this story again, 500. Every story I've ever told, I've told 500 times exactly, just for the record. I've never told it 499. And even after telling it here, it's still going to be 500 the next time I say it, just to be clear. I was like, my dad had the perfect lead magnet. My dad was a golf instructor, and he'd walk up and down the practice tee, and he would find somebody who was in pain. I don't mean physical pain, like they're reaching back to their back and, going like that. I mean, they hit a shot and they hit their club on the ground. They They hit the shot and they hit their club on the ground. They hit a shot and they hit their club. And he'd go up to him and say, "Can I help you out for a couple minutes?" And he'd give him one tip, one little strategy. They'd hit one shot and they'd look at him and go, "That's the best shot I've hit in months. How do I give you money?" Okay. That whole story was on the fly. It had no plans attached. But as soon as I told it the first time live, like my entire team, we met afterwards and they all went, "Oh my gosh, that story was perfect
Huh.
for how to describe a lead magnet as being a solution to pain and being a little teaser of what you can offer." Tell that story. And then we perfected little things. When I talked about
Yeah.
like he'd see somebody in pain and then I put my hand on my back like I just did that. I did that one day. I went, "Oh, that was a good move. I should do that every time." But like by the time that you launch, if you're going to go 7 figures, you've perfected those stories and that messaging and your bonuses and your price points. Like you should not be 6 months out, not know your price point yet. You should know what your payment plans are going to be. You should know the modules in the course. You should know the specs. You should know exactly how many milligrams of calcium are in your supplement, all those things well in advance.
Beautiful. So the biggest thing I'm picking up is be prepared, get this stuff ready 2 months in advance at a minimum. Get a hold of your old partners that have worked well in the past, get them all their assets, know your numbers. That brings me to an old, if you don't know your numbers, you turn into a joke at some point as well. I remember an old Marine buddy 20 years ago, we were going into Vegas and he said, "I heard there's like 1 million or like 1 billion lights in Las Vegas." And that's a giant difference of a number. And we have never let him
Like
ever
my
tell.
grandfather is like 60 or 90 years old. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's too big of a gap. No
I'm,
one's
I'm at this age right
specific.
now. I'm just in my 40s, just to be clear. Like technically I will be the same age for 10 years in my 40s. And then I'll be
Yeah,
in my 50s, you know.
I keep thinking I'm Ronnie Lott, but I turned 43. So we'll get past it. But incredible story. We're way over time already, Matt. Really appreciate your time. Before I let you go, like, it's exactly why I wanted to have you on, why I said at the beginning of this episode of you've forgotten more about affiliate than I know. And these stories and these like tips you're giving are things that I haven't even thought of in some situations. There's a lot of greatness that have come from this. Now, you're a great coach. How does a person optimize their talents in your mind? Like, it took you some time to figure out what you were good at and where
Yeah.
to stay in your lane and be good at that thing. What's a good tip that you can give people out there that are maybe new affiliate managers, but
Hmm.
trying to figure out where to go in their career here?
Wow. That is a massive question. I'll answer by saying kind of something that I hear a lot, like whether it be affiliate recruiting or working with current affiliates is I don't want to be annoying.
Okay.
I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to reach out too much. You can reach out so much more than you think you can.
Okay.
If you're talking about recruiting an affiliate, like they can't be any less in your program than they already aren't. So if I don't know what else to say is if you piss somebody off, who cares? What are they going to do? This isn't like one of those things where you might cut somebody off in traffic and the risk is they're going to cut you off and put you off the road or shoot you. Nobody has ever, I'm going to seek that Matt McWilliams out because he's emailed me 8 times in the last 6 months. I don't fear for my life reaching out to affiliates a little bit more. What's the worst that could happen? They say no. They already aren't in my affiliate program. So what's the worst that could happen if I moderately annoy an affiliate? Like I've never, rarely, I shouldn't say never, maybe once in 20 years, have I dealt with somebody's like, "You have reached out to me too many times. I would like to be removed." And I go look and go, "Oh, they're generating $2,000 a week in sales. I screwed up." No, that's never happened.
Yeah.
Usually it's like, "I would like to be removed." Oh, they had one sale 5 months ago. Darn, I lost them. I got 10 times more return from the other affiliates by emailing them and by reaching out to them that frequently. If somebody reaches out and politely is like, "Hey, is there any way to get less communication from me?" I say, "Absolutely." And I segment them. However you want to do that. In my
Okay.
case, I usually, just tag them somehow. And then I
Yeah.
don't include them on every email, but I include them on periodic ones. And so I say that to say like the biggest thing is just like do more of the things you're doing that are working. Find the things that you're like, if reaching out to an affiliate, once a week, try twice. But I might upset them. You might, if you have 1,000 affiliates, you might upset 5 of them. but you're going to also get 50 who actually do something that they wouldn't have done. So then try 3. Well, might get, yep, you'll get another 5 who are, but you'll get another 50 who promote again. And so I don't know if that's the type of answer you're looking for, but that's just the first thing that came to mind because I literally deal with it every single day. I deal with our affiliate managers. I deal with our coaching clients. I deal with even with our clients where we run the affiliate program and they're like, "But you're not." I'm like, "Yeah, I actually did. I sent 4 emails last week to the affiliates, and here's the results." And I don't necessarily say this. Shut up, because I have 11 extra affiliate programs since we took over in May. Maybe my way of doing things is better than your way of not doing things. Like that's the biggest thing I would say, probably.
Great.
Just
Incredible
execute
tip.
and try things,
Love it.
experiment, see things that work. Like there have been, I can't tell you how many things I've done that were stupid over the years. And when I look back, it's like, why did I ever do it? Why did I do it? Because I can't tell you how many things I did that I thought would be stupid and actually turned out to be brilliant ideas. So I never know. Just try it. If you want to have 50 good ideas, you need about 200 ideas.
Okay. Don't be afraid. Get out
Yeah.
there, get your name out there. It doesn't hurt to be noticed a little bit more. Great advice. Matt, how do we connect with you?
Yeah, super easy. MattMcWilliams.com. If you're interested in XP Affiliate, xpaffiliate.com. That's our affiliate network. Like I said, that we just started here in the last few months. And if you're in the health and wellness space, it's perfect for you. If you're not, we should probably still have a conversation. Yeah. MattMcWilliams.com or xpaffiliate.com.
I'm really hoping that you guys hone into online courses and start helping them grow affiliate programs. It's a gap that has been plaguing the industry like
Yeah.
pretty badly. I hope you
Yeah.
can service those guys here soon.
It is definitely a gap. No doubt about it.
Awesome. Matt, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate
My
you.
pleasure.
For everybody out